What's up, guys? Welcome to the Yak Chat, episode number 12. Really excited, bro. This is where we talk about all things kayaks, all things fishing, all the time. My name is Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing, and I'm glad you guys have taken the time to be here with us today. This podcast streams live on YouTube and is available on demand on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you guys are watching live, we want to hear your questions, comments, and of course, your smart remarks. And if you're listening later on, please do me a quick favor and drop a review wherever you're listening. That helps big time, big time, big time. Today's conversation all about big boy kayak fishing essentials. Super excited about this one with so many people, guys of all sizes getting on the water. Big guys can feel left out. When I started my kayak fishing journey 4 years ago, there were not that many videos catered to big dudes. So thankfully the tide has turned and we're starting to see more attention given to that side of the market. And as well, we're starting to see a lot of content creators too that come from the big boy section of the market. So initially today we were going to be joined by our friend Cody Walling, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it on the show. So instead we're joined by our friend Jake Stem. He's been with us before as a guest and as a co-host. So you guys already know him. And besides being an avid tournament angler and Old Town Prostaff, he's also a big boy, just like me. Big boy, so he intimately knows the struggle and has worked around and within the struggle to make it work for him. So we're going to talk to him about big boy kayaks, safety, and all around know-how in just a minute. Again, this is an interactive show, so if you guys are watching live, get your questions ready as well as those dad jokes, because at the end of the show, we're going to go over all the dad jokes in our Funny or Crummy segment. So don't do me dirty like y'all did last time. I only had one dad joke last time. I want at least 5. So bring the heat, bro. Bring them dad jokes. And before we get to the weekly catch-up, quick shout-out to our premier sponsor, Lead Time. Lead Time has been powering my kayak setup for this entire season. I've been rocking with Lead Time's 12-volt 100 amp hour smart battery, and I've been loving it so far. The Bluetooth capability, insanely useful, and at $300, an absolute steal. So I'll include their link below in the show notes, and make sure you use that discount code BDF6 for 6% off your entire order. And a quick shout out again to Lead Time, because they're actually going to be the premier sponsor for the Pan American Kayak Championship for your boy going down there coming up next month. So you're going to see a lot more of Lead Time as well. And also thank you to Humble Imprints, the official custom apparel sponsor of the Yak Chat. Humble Imprints creates custom t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, anything you could think of with your businesses or club's logo on it. So the best part is that 10% of those proceeds benefit families and children in the foster care system. So check them out at humbleimprints.com. So weekly catch up. If you guys already know, if you're not on the group, make sure you guys join Kayak Fishing Dads. We are on Facebook, but we're also on Discord now. So join us on Discord if that's your thing. Also, the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series is on. We're in the month of August. So now's the time. If you guys want to get into the competition, this is the last chance you get. There's no more chances after August. And this is your chance to get on my team to go to Alabama and fight for over $10,000 worth of prizes. So all the details of how it works and what the prizes are down below in the show notes. So I'm going to bring up the Fishing Chaos app real quick so y'all can see the standings of where we're at for the Knucklehead. I bet. So Bearded Dad Fishing. We got a bunch of guys already signed up, man. So you guys already saw in May, Mactoon took first place. June, Jonathan Miller took first place. And in July, Jacob Tomlin took first place with 103 inches. Jacob was actually on the winning team last year with Darren Wendell for the Knucklehead Championship. So he's on Team Bearded Dad this time. So we're going to make sure he brings home another first place trophy. And then for August, you guys see Rick Peters already leading with 84 inches out of Virginia. Patrick with 72.5 out of Illinois. And Alex Purrs with almost 60 inches out of Georgia. So like I said, it's early. It's only 4 days into August. So if you guys want to get in on the action, this is the month to do it. All the information on how to sign up is down below in the show notes. So enough of me blabbing, man. Let me get this banner off of here and introduce the guys that you already know. So no need for introductions. You got your boy Juan Orta, Captain Hooks. What's up, baby?
Up? How y'all feeling out there? I'm tired and burnt from a long season of fishing.
Too much fishing?
Yeah.
Relate. And the boy Jake Stem, what's up, bro?
Yo, what up, boys?
Dude, happy to have you on.
Poppy Juice.
Poppy Juice. So if y'all don't know, Jake is Poppy Juice. He gives us the juice. That's why we call him that. And today he's gonna give us the juice about big boy kayaks, bro. I hit him up and I said, yo, the guy Cody that I had originally can't do this show. Can you join us? I was like, I know you're not really like a big dude, and I feel like he took offense to that.
Yeah, you can't not call me a big dude. For reference, I'm not proud of this, but I'm like 5'11", like 300 pounds. So
all right,
if you guys have reference, I'm a big
certified
boy.
And admittedly, though, you're tight. You're a tight fluffy. You're not like a sloppy.
Yeah, no, I got heavy bones, as they say.
Yeah. You're just a real solid kid. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's
big boy.
I'm so strong. I broke a rod today. So that's
really
how strong I am. Yeah, no, I got snagged and I was annoyed and I just pulled on the Ned rig way too hard and just snapped the rod in half. So first time I did that ever. So
barely, man, you.
Yo, how much fishing did you do this weekend, bro?
Let's see. Yesterday was a back to basics tournament up at Brady's Lake, which is a cool club up in the Poconos of PA. It's 2 rods, no fish finder, no motors, paddle. Wow, I can't speak. Man powered only. Got second place in that. That was a really tough event, honestly. I was shocked to get second with that. My dad came out. That was my biggest fish was 16 inches.
Okay.
It was your best 4. So he changes it up for every event, which is cool. The last one was at your home lake, Juan Leaser. That was your best 3. But my dad came out. That was his first tournament. He's a big boy. He was paddling around the New Canoe Unlimited. But it was an awesome. He would have beat me too. My dad had 3 good ones and lost his 4th one at the kayak, and I was like, "Ooh. Welcome to tournament fishing, baby." That's what happens.
Oh, dang, that's cool.
He's actually watching right now. Ron Stem.
Hey,
what's up, bro? So he is paddling the New Canoe.
Yeah, so it's man powered only. So he has a Motor Guide XI3 set up on that. So he had to paddle it around. So he hung out pretty close to the launch, but clearly that was where it was at because he was catching good ones.
That was cool, man. I'd like to ask him how that paddles because I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I know a lot of people motorize it, but they also have the pivot pedal drives, but I have not seen a lot of people that have it.
They're pedal drives. I've seen one before in person, and it was not good. The guy hated it. So yesterday I fished the tournament. Then I went up to northern PA, Towanda area, and I fished the Susquehanna today because the Kayak Adventure Series that Drew Gregory runs, that's a cool tournament concept, is going to Towanda, Pennsylvania next weekend. So I was up there today practicing. I did a 9 to 10 mile float with some guys that I'm fishing or staying with next weekend, and tough fishing up there. Lots of fish. So they run an individual tournament, a team tournament, and then they have a dink event. So it's your 5 smallest fish. It's a separate tournament for this Kayak Adventure Series.
That's cool.
I'm going for the win on the dink tournament because I smashed the dinks today.
Yeah. I wanted to go to that Kayak Adventure Series so bad, bro, because I love the format that they're doing. And because they're incorporating the whole family aspect. They got seminars and they're doing something at the old theater in town.
Yeah, they got a whole theater. They rent out the whole town. So Thursday night they're gonna be hanging out at bars or restaurants. Friday night they're doing it too. And then it's Friday, there's an afternoon 4-hour session for the tournament. And then Saturday is an 8-hour session. So it's a day and a half total for the event. It's a really, really cool format. So
Yeah,
That does sound cool. I wish I didn't work.
dude. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'm
anyone
excited
that's
to
going
try
up there to fish it, you can also like double, triple dip because Slay
yeah,
Nation's
there's
doing it.
3. Yeah, Slay Nation
Kayak
has a
Anglers of
tournament.
Eastern PA, right?
Yep, and Keystone Anglers, which is a northern kayak club. So my buddy Scott's in the chat. He actually has a camp up near there. That's funny. I almost passed the camp today, Scott. I was thinking of you guys, but it honestly didn't come up that much with the. So there was 2 major thunderstorms yesterday afternoon. It didn't come up that much, but it was freaking muddy for the most part. So I thought I would turn them on. I was catching mostly fish on top water, and honestly, that was and a spinnerbait. Top water and spinnerbait was the go-to today.
Okay.
That's wild. That's like yesterday I went fishing and I went to this lake that's not that deep. So and I knew the water temp was gonna be high. I just went because I know there's plenty of smaller fish, but it was for the fact I went to Munchuk. I don't need to lie. I'm like, it's not like a secret.
Dink
where I went.
Fest, baby.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
gets that rod bent.
Yeah. So I went to Munchunk and I was surprised that the bite turned on with a medium diving crankbait.
Chartreuse.
That chartreuse. Yeah, it just started turning up. I think it's because it is pretty grassy in there and it's not that deep. So
you broke your PB, right?
What? No.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did, man. I did. So I caught it.
I saw that.
You just reminded me of that. Yeah. All right, y'all. So what Jay's referring to is yes, I went fishing yesterday, and so the concept here was I didn't realize that we're gonna start hitting on the crank. I was excited that they were hitting the crank because it was a custom painted crank I made. So there was a little bit of pride in that. So I'm working it. They keep smashing it. I'm like having a really good time. But then I said, I wanted to transition to a little shallower water. I had another custom I made, was running a little more shallow. I said, let me throw that, catch a pickerel on that. And then as I'm taking off the hook, I get, and I didn't realize it until today or so because I started feeling it after. He almost got 2 fingers.
Oh.
So, but yeah, I got the hook stuck in my finger and we used the braid. You ever seen the braid trick?
The braid trick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if y'all seen the braid trick, Juan says it works.
But you need so it was because it was on my thumb. I had a gentleman help me, Bill.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bill because he wants to take me to
Shout out Bill.
Yeah, no, real cool dude. He has he has a riverboat, with the jet drive and all that. Bill was super cool. We connected. He took my number. Anyhow, so Bill tried to pull it out at first, but because it was on my thumb moved up with it a little bit, and I kind of and I felt the barb pulling under my nails. So I was like, So I called the park ranger. Park ranger comes over. Me and him watched the YouTube video one time real quick, and we sit down on this hard surface, and I have him hold my thumb down. And I was like, yo, don't my thumb move. Don't let anything move. And it came right out. It saved the day. I got to get back out on the water. I stuck it out in the rain, and I caught some more, and it was worth it. So I'm a little
dude.
short.
So last weekend on the Bassmaster, I kept catching smaller smallmouth on a whopper plopper, and I literally always usually have the fish grips because of the muskie on the river, but I didn't have them with me. And honestly, you need them for the little smallmouth because you're trying to hold the plopper at the top because you can't get your hand in their mouth because they're so small. And 4 different times, the bottom treble and the whopper plopper got stuck in my sun shirt. So then it's dangling and it's going crazy. I'm like, stop moving. And literally by the end of the day, I had to cut the hook out of the sun shirt so many times. I had a giant hole in the shirt. It was toast. So I made sure I put the fish grips back on the kayak for those little ones.
It's so funny you said that because the next day I went out. The next day I had both of them on both sides, so I could have because I was like, I'm not dealing with that again. But what the crazier part was, the fish was still stuck to the lure. So the pickerel was still stuck to the crankbait, and it was still stuck to my thumb. And I had to hold on to him I was squeezing the life out of him. And they're so slimy. And so he's moving, he's jerking, and I'm like, and I had to use him and lean over to get to my pedal drive so I could get in a direction because I was yelling for some people, but I was too far away, so they couldn't hear me. Man, it was.
Sounds like a good time, bro. But
that's the scariest part.
Fish.
I'm glad I got it out because the first time I did one, I had to go to the emergency center. So
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that if you haven't hooked yourself, you're gonna hook yourself at some point, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
I have not, and I rue the day. I don't look forward, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it is gonna happen.
So
Yeah,
just
knock
use the
on
braided-
wood.
the
I've
braid
yet
trick.
to. I don't want to do the braid trick, but the key is to have someone else pull it because then you're flinching if you're trying to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And honestly, you need extra hands to be able to do it.
Yo, but
Dude.
one of the things they dropped during the iCast, which we didn't talk about, and I saw very few people talk about it, is this tool called the D-Hooker.
I saw that.
I think it's
me see something.
DHUKR. It's almost like a DKU a D. I'm sorry, DHUKR. Like it's weird.
like,
it's not even
like
spelled out.
Like phonically, it says D-Hooker.
Yeah, D-Hooker. Yeah, phonically. There you go. But it looks cool. Like it's supposed to be so you can take a hook out of your own skin by yourself because the way
I did see a clip of that.
it holds it down.
I ain't gonna lie. Did you see how that guy just like yanked it out? No issue.
So the guy that was displaying the work in the booth was sticking a hook into his skin on his arm so that he could show people how it comes out, and then he would shove it past the barb.
Crazy.
What?
So
yes,
that guy's
he
on a
must be the
whole nother
owner.
level.
I don't know any
This is
employee
it.
that would do that.
He probably got numbed up before he came into iCast. He
Bro,
just
either
got
way, it looks like a
numbing
cool
shot.
tool. I would totally do that. Yeah, we got compliments. Kyle says Jake's stem is
Yeah.
so sexy. I agree. That's why I call him Poppy Juice.
Yo,
too.
Kyle, that is a unit of a freaking smallmouth, dude.
Bro, Kyle sold his kayak and now he's in a boat. He went to the dark side. He's in his own boat now.
Nice.
That's my boy Kyle from Kutztown.
Yo, let's jump into the subject, bro. Ask the
let's do it.
questions. So, big boy kayak fishing. The segment has been growing. I've seen it. I'm part of it. You know, I've only been kayak fishing for 4-ish years. My thing is when I first started doing my research and watching the hundreds of videos for kayaks, I cared about weight capacity, but there was no video that only focused on weight capacities. So, you know, I kind of had just to dissect everything, and I settled with my Old Town Sportsman PDL 120, which I love, still rock it, and I think it's super stable. But now that it seems like the tide has changed, not only are people focusing on the big boy segment, but it almost seems like all the kayaks now that are coming out don't have a weight capacity of less than like 500 pounds. So we saw that a little bit with the iCast release. I don't want to beat a dead horse. The XTR 130, the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128, both have weight capacities of 600 for the Wilderness System and 730 for the XTR, which is bananas. But
these John Yaks are getting nuts.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. So first of all, what do you think about the growing market, and what are your favorite kayaks that you think new guys coming in that are 250, 300 plus pounds should be looking at?
I mean, personally, I love the aspect of them going to the higher capacity. Yes, the two new ones really look like, I literally call them John Yaks, because realistically, they're not that much bigger than our kayaks. It's just like the way they look. They just like look so much like a little John boat. But I mean, if you're a guy that's 120 pounds, why wouldn't you want a kayak with 700-pound capacity? Because then you can, I mean, I'm a big guy and I rig mine out with 2 fish finders, live scope, and everything. If you're a little guy, you can run all over that thing. Yeah. So I feel like it should be from the start a higher capacity. But for big guys, it's so nice to not have to worry about stability. You know, like my dad, when he was getting the kayak fishing, I think he was very nervous because just having, especially, you know, middle-aged older guys with their balance and stuff like that, like they want to get into kayak fishing, but until they actually get on a stable kayak, like a 120 PDL or a New Canoe Unlimited, something like that, compared to your cheaper Walmart style kayaks, they don't realize how stable they really are and how comfortable you can be. Because the biggest thing, you want to be comfortable in the water, you want to feel safe, you want to be able to go out and fish most conditions other than when it's blowing like 30. But if you go out in the water and a storm pops up, you don't want to have to be totally worried about getting in. Like, some of these kayaks, you're gonna fall out before that thing ever flips.
Yeah.
Like you're good to go.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I didn't think about it, but you brought up a good point that it's not just important for big guys, I mean, young big guys, but also older guys that might not have the same balance they did when they were in their 30s and 40s. Because there's a lot of older dudes too that, I don't say older with respect, like guys that are 50 years plus that just don't have that same balance, and they're out there fishing, bro. I mean, how many of the tournaments are 50 plus year old guys? There's a lot of anglers out there are doing it.
The one guy I travel with, he's not a big guy, but he's 77, and he still travels with me and fishes tournaments. Like, I hope I'm still doing that at 60, let alone 77. So, and I think the thing is too is like, it's so much easier to get in the kayak game. Like, yeah, me and my dad have a John boat, but like to him to go launch it by himself, it's just so much work and all that stuff. Where he has a new Canoe Unlimited, he was putting it in the bed of the truck, which is a lot for an older guy to lift and do all that stuff. But then he got a trailer, and now he's like absolutely in love. Like so much easier to launch by yourself, go out, don't feel worried. You can go fishing by yourself, and you're not worried about anything.
Trailering is the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trailering. You're gonna get those. Why don't you just buy a bass boat? Well, I don't have gas payments. That's always the argument.
Yeah.
But when you get a trailer, it's just so much easier to launch. The only thing is you can't, get no sneaky spot where you could cart in a kayak. But if you're at that age, you're really gonna try to do that. Like I even hate carting places. I've carted my kayak places where it's like I never want to do that again. I prefer to go to a ramp.
Well, because well, first of all, I want to know how many guys and people watching, the guys that are watching right now, do you guys trailer or do you guys cart your kayak? So let us know and I'll put it up because I'm interested to see how many people trailer. But if you're trying to get into these sneaky spots anyways, you still have to cart 130 pounds of kayaking gear, through brush and everything else. So you're probably not going to do it anyways. It's still prohibitive.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I know, like, so I started off using this huge canoe, 13-footer. It was a square back, and I would put a trolling motor on that. And I used to put that on the roof of my old SUV. And that was really awkward and heavy. And anytime there was somebody around the ramp and they offered help, I'd take it because it was Etch-a-Sketch. And so, yeah, one of the big things that I had to consider, I'm tall. You guys talk about big guys in the sense of that, I got a big gut and I'm real tall. And, so I'm top heavy, right? And I could be a little clumsy at times too. So I wanted to get something that I felt secure in. And like Jake said, when it turns up out there and it gets a little crazy, you want to feel secure in that as well. So I've been in like 25, 20 mile an hour winds standing up, kind of like just riding the wave and working a spinner bait, catch fish that way as well. So, but yeah, definitely the trailering is definitely where it's at. It's an entirely different experience. It's so much easier, especially when you're setting up, because you can kind of like everything's kind of at like waist level and stuff that. You know what I mean?
Staging, it changes the game for staging more than anything.
All that.
I like how you can leave a lot of the stuff rigged. So I car top my 120 PDL. I see a lot of people car topping Old Towns.
Crazy, Jake.
And I car top that. I mean, the 2 years ago, I car topped and I fished like 18 tournaments plus fun fishing. So I put that thing up and down there at least like 150 times in the summer, and just rigging, like taking the fish finder off, taking out your tackle crate, taking out like most of the stuff that you don't want up there. Now on a trailer, I honestly leave my graphs on because they're on the metal tracking system with a ram ball mount. Like they don't move like at all. My tackle crate is strapped in good. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just nicer on that aspect. You get around so much faster. I absolutely love comparing. The car topping was not fun. It's just, and I saw someone said the dynamic dolly. That's a great alternative besides just a cart, because at least you can get it ready and then you can still back it down. I think it's even faster. The cart is I love the cart, but it's a pain because you usually have to tie a rope to it, because once you push the kayak in, you don't want to lift your kayak because you already have it rigged. Like that's a pain. So you almost want to attach a rope to the cart somehow, and then once you push it in, have the kayak come off, and then just pull the cart back in from the lake. Because I've had to lift it off the cart before, and it's absolutely terrible. And then you're trying to lift the kayak to put it on the cart, and then if it slides off, it's like
it's crazy.
I've done all that. It's like
I had when I actually have him sitting right next to me, but when I first brought the Hobie, I brought the cart, the little wheel system that comes with it. I didn't buy the big sand ones because I'm like, I'm not gonna get no sand. But I brought anyhow, yeah. So
the ones that go through the scupper, right?
Yeah, the ones that go through the scupper.
Yeah.
And like dude, even that, like, because so the hole itself is just like empty with nothing in it. It's awkward, and it's especially with that front point. Dog, trying to lift up that hull to get it lined up with this, the only two holes that are lined up for it, you know, that was a pain in the butt. And that was so stressful. Then I had to like learn, there's like a hack, you know, that you could use with some bungees and some tension to slide it up in there. And that was like, that worked okay for a little bit too. But then, yeah, I don't know. I just
a lot of times you're like asking someone to literally put it through those scuppers, because I've seen so many people with those scupper ones. It's like it's impossible to do by yourself. At least like the wilderness, you can slide it up, but then you know if the ramp's not like if the ramp's bumpy, I have to really go to pull it, and then it slides off the wilderness, and it's like, dude, a trailer. I mean, it's another investment, but it's so much easier.
I never. Oh, hold on, and I meant to say earlier, Jake, you're crazy. I don't know if you heard that, for all this stuff that you keep. Yo, we went on a camping trip together with Jake. I don't know why
I'm a rapper now.
I don't know why I said Drake. So we went up to Raystown earlier this year, like what, April or March we went, and
March, I think, yeah.
Yo, and I'm looking at Jake's setup. I'm like, he's packing up. I'm like, you keep all that on your kayak? He's like, yeah. All that attached to your kayak, and you just be driving with that? He's like, everywhere. And I'm like, yo, that's wild.
Yeah, thousands of miles, baby. Benefit. It don't move.
Yeah,
it does not move. It saves so much time.
I used to leave stuff on mine as well. I used to leave my tackle box, and then I lost the tackle box. And then I started scarring up like my rear hatch due to vibration on my older one. And then I used to keep my chair installed on the Hobie when I drove around. And now I don't do that anymore either. The only thing I'll keep is like the arm or the base for the GPS, and I won't keep the GPS in there though, because I'm scared that might.
Yeah, since I have the metal tracking and the Randball mount, I had like the Yak Attack mount, and it vibrated a lot, and like it never made me nervous, but like you'd hit a big bump and it would wiggle. But with those Amazon Randball mounts, I cranked that thing down, and I mean, you guys seen it; it don't even move. Like I have two graphs on one tracking system, and I have no worries.
You put a bungee cord around your screens, right?
Yeah, just to keep the covers on, which I'm pretty sure they make, better looking ones. But I just wrap a bungee around the screen just to keep the Garmin covers on, just in case, so they don't fly off. But just a safety precaution.
Matt Collins makes a good remark that trailer opens you up to being able to move in a tournament as well. It's a big thing.
Yes, I moved. That reminds me. I was fishing a tournament on Champlain, and I had like a 45-minute drive, and I did a move in a tournament, and I was car topping it still, and that was horrendous. Literally, to take everything off the kayak, because like I said, nothing stayed on it, and to put everything, dude, it was never.
Yeah, I like the fact that I could keep a lot of stuff on my internal in there, and they're kind of just. And now it's it's pretty simple. I just have like I used to use the three like one strap in the front, one strap in the back, and the tow hook in the front. But honestly, with the tow hook in the front and the strap in the back, I'm fine with that because I got the cradle system, so it's like that's stuck. It's not moving anywhere. And for the guys that use the PVC or any kind of like piping or any kind of wood that sits in those grooves, you're good with that too. I know those holes ain't moving any once those things are strapped. So
I saw Michael asked, when traveling, what security for theft prevention does anyone do? I mean, me personally, anytime I'm staying somewhere sketchy, not at an Airbnb or somewhere that's, a little too much traffic, I'll pull my graphs off, of course. I might empty my Yak Attack black pack, but that thing's strapped down like so many different ways, and I'm like, we're we're good. I'm not undoing all of that. But when I car topped it, I would actually take a cable and a lock and go through the handle and then go around the bar of my rooftop of the racking system, and I would actually go through the handle of the Old Town or one of the scupper holes, and I would lock it on there as well. So that's one thing I do. I mean, you could lock it to the trailer, but honestly, I try to avoid tournaments. I try not to stay at motels. I usually, like, when we went and camped, I try to camp somewhere, or I try to do an Airbnb and split the cost so it's cheaper. And that way you don't have to worry about literally leaving it somewhere where you're nervous. I feel like hotels and motels, you're just asking for something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could only do so much. You're just making it inconvenient for them to rob it if they really wanted to.
Yeah, and I feel like
they'll cut cables, they'll do all that stupid stuff.
I feel like
I
feel like though, like too, with like your circumstances and whatever you have going on, you should just also be pretty mindful of your situation. Like if you're in a situation or a predicament where you're like, okay, I think that I need to watch this, or just do that. Be a little mindful, set a little alarm for yourself or whatever. If you got to check it every hour, whatever the case is, or just create a presence. You know what I mean? Create a presence of movement and things like that. Like me, I'm super random around my house. I'm always waking up at different times of the hour. I'm always taking out my dogs, and there's no telling. And with the schedule that me and my wife keep, somebody knows that at some point in time, somebody's always here. So, if you do that with your stuff, whenever you're out somewhere doing something, keep going back to the car, checking stuff, doing stuff like that. They'd be like, hey, this guy keeps coming out. Even if I tried, I might get caught up just crying or something like that, But being mindful also too, those little I have some here, those air thingies, air tags.
Oh, the air tags.
Yeah, throw an air tag in it if you're feeling funky. You know what I mean? If not that too, look into the GPS systems that go into cars. And since a lot of us keep little batteries in our situation anyway, maybe go out and buy yourself a cheap little 8-hour amp hour battery. And at night, instead of the air tag, because the air tag is detectable by the cell phone.
Yeah.
Throw the GPS out a car would have, just like they do when you buy a used car, whatever the case is, and connect it to that little 8-hour amp battery and have it tucked away in your thing, and then boom, you know what I mean? If anything happens, you already know. Just hit the authorities, bam, wham, bam, and they wouldn't even know.
Yeah. I think my favorite suggestion is what Matt Collins said right now. He said you can insure your kayak for cheap. And that is true. So I have both of my kayaks insured. At one point I had 3 kayaks and I had all 3 insured, and my trailer and my gear. For the gear was like $5,000, like premium, right? So $5,000 worth of gear, and then all my kayaks up to the cost of whatever retail replacement costs. And I was paying $330 a year. Right now, because I got rid of a kayak, it's like maybe $270 a year. So it's really not that bad of a price. I
honestly heard a lot of that. I heard that on a podcast or something.
I'm about to do that next week.
They were like, I was like, oh, can I insure my tackle and stuff? And they're like, yeah, can you like estimate the value and like take pictures? And I'm like, you know how much tackle I have? No, I ain't doing that. You're crazy. That's gonna take me a week to do all that. So I never went through.
No, I highly recommend it. If you guys, if anybody wants to insure their kayak or their setup, hit me up. I actually have a guy that did mine. It's through Progressive, but he works with a lot of different. He's a broker. But I'll put you guys on for $300 and whatever a year. It's peace of mind, especially for all the gear that we.
I might hit him up. I'm with State Farm, but I might hit that.
That's ironic.
State
Farm, Jake from State Farm.
Bro, I got my cactus. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yo, Anthony asked. So Anthony, it's through Progressive. It's technically a boat insurance, so it's not through the homeowners. Homeowners only covers up to like such amount. It's not much. It's like maybe $700 in a watercraft. So, anyways, So we got a little sidetracked. So we was
No,
talking about trailering.
Yeah, my bad.
No,
I
No,
got
you're
down a
good.
rabbit
You're good. I
hole.
love this.
I'm like, I took the moment to look at a text message, and then I'm looking up. I'm like, oh,
No. So we did. So trailering is it's almost like a hack for big guys, right? Like it's easier, especially because of these kayaks. They're getting higher weight capacities, but they're also getting heavier. Like that's kind of the trade-off,
Yes.
right? If you have a 40-inch wide hull and a 13-foot wide or long kayak, like it's gonna be heavy,
Yeah.
I would say the norm right now is probably like anywhere from 120 to 140 pounds, 150 pounds. They're coming at 170 pounds rigged, and that's before you throw your gear on there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
so you're not gonna cart that comfortably. It's not gonna be fun if you're carting it. You're not gonna car top it. It's not gonna be cool. So
Also, too, with the older people, I thought this was interesting, right? Like with the older folks, I don't want to say people. I don't know why I feel like that's rude. Anyway, older people. So with them, so I was out on the lake yesterday and I ran into some older folk who they had used to be on kayaks, but they got rid of the kayaks because they felt like the kayak really wasn't suiting them because they didn't have the right kayak for them, right? For their age and everything that they had going on. And then they ended up like, they were almost on like a bass track, those little Pelican bass tracker thingies.
Okay, yeah.
It was like kind of like that size scenario. They had like a little trolling motor on the front and the back. They were like teaming up. Anyhow, and then the other people were on like another small little boat and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, man, if only they had what they have now, maybe a year or two ago when they were going through this buying process or whatever, or maybe if they knew about it, or maybe if these prices were more in tune. But for the older generation, man, I see that these newer kayaks, John Yaks, whatever you want to call them, I think the price points are popping for that older group. It is going to allow them to get out, and it's going to allow them to get out the way they want to get out, right? They want to use a trolling motor anyway. They want to, get comfortable on a seat or potentially be able to. And even if they don't want to stand, they want to feel super secure in sitting down, that they're not going to fall over when they bend over for something. There was a story I overheard at this, it's like a pay lake, you pay annually. It's like a rod and gun club. And I overheard about an older gentleman who's been fishing there for years, wants to go take a whiz over the edge of his boat. And it was like in the beginning of spring. And he fell overboard. And he was like somewhere between like 65 and 70. And there was another gentleman and his dad not far away. And so the guy is like pretty much struggling because of how cold the water was. He had no life vest or anything like that. And they come over, they help him. Dude was so freaked out because he didn't realize that people were coming to help him. And he said, thank you guys, because for a moment there, I said bye to my kids. I said bye to my wife. He thought that was it, because it's a super deep, like it goes like 40 to 50 deep. Like the drop offs are crazy. So, and it's a quarry. So, you can't grab onto the walls because everything slips. So, he was freaking out. So they saved him, and he got to the shoreline, and he looked at the guys. There were like 4 or 5 guys sitting around. He was like, anybody want my boat? You could take it now, $100. He sold his boat, never showed up back to the lake ever again.
That's a scary situation. I mean, safety is number one. I think the big thing for people in kayak fishing in general, whether you're young, old, big guy, skinny guy, male, female, whatever, is they're so used to seeing the sit-in kayaks or their experience. If you go out and kayak your first time, most of the time it's on a cheap sit-in or sit on top where they're not super stable. Not a lot of places, like by us especially, there's no demo days. So really demo days to be able to experience or know someone. Like all of us have kayaks. I talk to people all the time, like, yo, you want to hop in my kayak, test it out, this and that. I feel like that, especially for a big guy, if you're uncomfortable and you're worried about it, reach out to people. Most of us kayak guys are super chill, meet up at a lake, let you take it out, get some experience, or find a local dealer that does a demo day. I wish there was more of them doing it, because then you can get your hands on without buying one. Because if you buy one, like let's say the Crescent Shoaly, awesome kayak, it's made for the river, but I've heard that it's super tippy. So for someone that's 250, 300 pounds, you might not like that. So to be able to test different kayaks, it's nice to be able to know before you go spending all that money what you're getting into.
I think that's a really valid point. I think that, and Jake's right. Get with a dealership that if they don't offer a demo day, I know Delaware Paddle Sports sometimes, like once a year, sometimes twice a year, they offer a demo day and they bring a bunch of kayaks out. And if not, I've also called them and asked, like, hey, if I was going to bring my wife out there and she wanted to have a few options, would you be willing to bring 2 or 3 for her to try out? And I said, even if we don't buy, whatever, they're like, yeah, we're down to support that. So get with these companies, because they their goal is to sell. Their goal,
Yeah, and these are like kayak shops, like they're ma and pa stores. Like I've heard great things about Delaware Paddle Sports, and there's a lot of other ones that are usually like the family-owned businesses. They'll let you get on one.
Yeah, they're
you cannot try out like a Lifetime or whatever. Whatever sporting goods one, you're not going to try it out.
No.
Yeah.
So, and if you
100%.
if you don't live close to somewhere that you can do that, like Jake said, reach out to people like on the Facebook groups. If you have local kayakers like close to you, dude, like most of us don't even care. Like just like we want you to try it to know if you want to use it.
Yeah, and not only that, we want you to have that experience. It would do nothing but bring us joy to see, like, you're skeptical, you're like a little unsure, you want to see what one looks like in person and kind of get up on it, and you're like, yo, can I take it for a spin? You're like, yeah, go ahead. And then you go out there and to see your face, and you're like, yeah, I think I could do this. Yeah, go ahead, stand up. Go ahead, stand up. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
What? That'll be
that's the biggest thing is people don't realize you can stand in these things.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone, like, how many times you guys come up to a ramp and you guys are fishing and people are like, whoa, that thing's cool, like, nice kayak. And they're like, can you stand in that? I'm like, yeah, I can frog all day in this sucker. Like, you want to see a frog hook set? Like, I'm almost going overboard when I set the hook on those bad boys, but, you can stand up and fish all day, punch, frog, whatever you want to do. I mean, biggest thing, too, for big guys, I'm getting a little bit back on track. Big guys, one thing is key is being comfortable. Kayak cushions, you want to be comfortable in the water. If you're a tournament guy or fun fisherman, tournament guys, we're on the water 8, 10, 12-hour days. So, we got to be comfortable the whole day. So you want to make sure you have a comfortable PFD. You never want to not wear it. You want to wear your PFD so much that it's like, if you wear a hat all the time and you don't wear a hat and you feel naked, like that's what you want to feel when you don't wear your PFD, because I don't care how hot it is. I don't care how, cold, it would keep you warm, but you need a PFD. I don't care what you say. I used to have the inflatable ones, and then it went off the one day because of moisture in my car. I literally went out and it inflated. So I got like an old style one that's, the Cabela's brand or whatever. I honestly like that better because sometimes they have faulty. They don't go off. If you hit your head or somehow fall in unconscious, you want to make sure that thing goes off. So even though, it might be hot in the summer, you always want to have a PFD. You want to have kayak cushions. You just want to feel comfortable the whole time.
Yeah, no, you do. I'm noticing a few things here. Matt Collins had a question on the standing yaks, and there was something else over here too. Somebody else said that they stand all day most of the time. I do as well. But on standing yaks, you think the foot pedal controllers for bow-mounted trolling motors will be popular on kayaks for standing to eliminate the remotes?
Yes.
No.
I say yes, bro. I thought about it. I was thinking about this maybe a couple weeks ago, actually.
You think so?
I think so, because why not? If you're standing, if you're not a standing guy, I stand 80% of the time when I'm fishing. Like I don't even cast sitting down.
Let me ask you something. When you stand up, are you not standing like this with your feet at a position so that you can maximize your balance?
Yeah, so but you have to have it off to the side.
When you're utilizing, I got my little cooler here from fishing. So when you're utilizing, I don't know, However, we're gonna see my feet here. Let me try to move my camera. Anyway, the whole point of what I'm trying to say is, you understand that when you go to utilize that foot system, or you try to utilize that foot system, you're balancing on one foot, and then you're.
Yeah. And if there's waves, if there's any movement. Now,
I don't
Chuck,
think it's.
if you remember Chuck at our kayak meetup, he had that, but he had it on rigged up on a piece of wood, so it was angled at him, so he could use it sitting down. So it was angled towards him, so he could just use it from sitting down. So that I could see that.
I
but
think
honestly,
I think that the way the positioning is going to work with that is, I think that the remote or the system themselves are just going to get more efficient. I think the ability for the spot lock is just going to be, that's just what you're going to have to utilize. The ability for it to connect to your GPS and track along a grass line. I think those kind of things are going to be a little more in tune with it, because I don't think it's feasible for us at this point in time to have something like that. I think that the best thing that they could do, if at most, is create a system that attaches to the base of the seat, so that as you stand, you can rest your legs against the seat and kind of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll come up with something. I don't think it's going to be the traditional. It's not going to be the traditional foot control that we're thinking about right now that they have on basketball.
Yeah.
I think they'll have something, though, that allows you to control it so you don't have to do it with your hand.
I mean,
real quick, I'm going to go back to Travis's comment, and it was a good one. He said, "I'm afraid I won't be able to stand up from that low of a seated position."
That was a good point.
So, as a big guy myself, it ain't easy to get up and down in those kayaks. But the one thing that you should all have in your kayaks, honestly, is seat risers. So a lot of these kayaks are so stable that even when you come up 2 inches on seat risers, you don't lose any stability. So me personally, I have, I think 1 or 2 inch, I think 1 inch seat risers on the front of my Old Town 120 PDL from Navarre kayak fishing. And then on the back, I did yoga blocks, yoga foam blocks off Amazon. And then I put some heavy duty duct tape around it to kind of keep the water out of it. And that was a 3-inch rise. So standing up and sitting down, you're not. And one thing too is flopping. As a big guy myself, I like to flop. That's just comfortable. I sit down and I flop. And you don't want it to be too far because you could break a seat. Mine actually has started to tear, but that's because I've had mine 2 years. And I don't realize, literally, it's just nonchalant. You sit down and flop. But as a big man, that's a lot of weight going on a seat. So to have those seat risers, it can help you get up and down super easily. So I would say seat risers are a really clutch thing. They have those stand-up, pull-up bars, for new canoe and stuff. But if you're fishing, I don't like that in the way because I fish a lot sitting down just because I'm constantly pedaling, moving. So I don't like that bar in the way.
Another thing to add to that is that you will get, you do have to get a little used to, it's like squatting. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna lie. If you're especially if you're a guy like me, I only stand, and you'll see me sit down quick, make a quick adjustment stand, see if I like where I'm drifting. I'm like, I'll make another quick adjustment stand, another, and then I'm good. So I'll go, man, I can't even imagine. Now that I think about it, I probably do 80 to 100 to 200 squats a day in the entirety of it because I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down, right? It's like sitting on a beach chair. So, but what I would say is definitely kind of just get a little acquainted to that. The best advice I could tell you is sit up on the edge of your seat, lean forward, and kind of just lean up forward and just stand
also
straight.
I've grabbed
push
my
with
drive.
your arms too.
Yeah, and I've grabbed my drive to pull myself up. Depending on what kayak you have, if you guys have seen that Steady Stick company, which it mounts to the drive of the Old Town, and it's just a stick that can adjust. Now it comes up a little bit, so me fishing, it would get in my way, but it mounts to your drive, so you can literally grab it and lift yourself up. So it's not like a whole bar system, so it's not too bulky, but.
Yeah, because those stand assist bar systems are pretty big. The Steady Stick one is pretty cool, but it's only available for the Sportsman models right now. I think they're coming out with another one. I don't know if it's the native drives or what it is.
I think it's native. I want to say it's
but also like from a practical perspective, also get like a stand strap. Like if you have a strap tied to your front handle,
to the front,
it does have to, it could be like a whatever, a rope or a ratchet strap. Just tie it to your front handle and have it next to you, so that way when you're gonna get up, you just pull yourself up. Yeah, so
that also can be used for that can also be used for getting back in the kayak, Jay. If you want to jump into that, being a big man, like if you flip over.
So one of the questions we got before actually going live, because I put this as a teaser on the Kayak Fishing Dads, is somebody asked what suggestions for self-rescuing if we were to fall over into the water. What do we recommend for big guys to get over back onto their kayak? So first thing, they have safety ladders that you can keep with you. You can keep in the back of your kayak. You don't have to have them deployed when you're in the water. You could just, like, if you're able to reach up on your kayak once you fall into the water, grab it, and it basically is a little step ladders that falls into the water to help you get up. But there's also other tools like Rogue Fishing has this. It's called the ADS, the adjustable drag strap. So it's meant to drag your kayak, but it's also the handle of it would fit a boot so that you can you can bring it in the water and kind of like lift yourself into the kayak. But this is something that should be tried before you need to use it. So I'm explaining it to you guys, but remember, you have clothing on, you have a PFD on, you have fish finders and gear and rods and everything in your kayak. So when you fall over, it's not an easy task to get back into the kayak. So definitely try it out and do it on a warm day when you got some time to kill.
And not for nothing.
Yeah, take no gear on the kayak. Go out there, try to flip it over, or jump out. I mean, me personally, I've always said that I've never done it. I've also, knock on wood, have never flipped. I mean, number one rule I always tell everyone before you go in the water, especially being a big man, look at the weather. You guys need to study that weather app. Like, literally, my fiance calls me a weatherman because I am always, me being a hunter as well, always looking at weather and fishing. Like, I'm always checking that weather because, I mean, there's pop-up storms. That always happens. But if you know that it's going to be 20, 30 mile an hour tomorrow and you're going on a big lake, don't do that to yourself, first of all. Second of all, be prepared. Like, when we went camping in March, I was wearing my floating bibs for ice fishing plus my PFD. If I fell in, you couldn't drag me below the water. Like, I'm floating. So that's like, take those two precautions first. During that time of year, like when we were there, we all had extra clothes and dry bags in our hatch. So if you do go over, you can get to the shoreline, change, don't get hypothermia, stuff like that. So those are also factors you guys need to consider before you even, think of what would happen if you flip over. Like, always, just keep putting the odds in your favor. And then if it was to flip over, take out your kayak, take it out empty, flip it over, or at least get out of it and try to get up. I know Fluke Master has some good videos on YouTube. There's a couple of good videos on YouTube of, at least you can see it and then go try it on the water yourself. It's,
Michael S. brought it up too. The Rogue strap is going to be used for a stand-up strap and self-rescue strap. So Chad Hoover has a video on it where he uses it. So give it a shot. I mean, something like a rescue ladder or the Rogue strap would be a good idea for self-rescue. But yeah, give it a shot, bro, because you're gonna need to try this before you really need it. And I also have not tipped into the water, but I know it's gonna happen at some point. Yeah. It's one of those things, just like hooking yourself.
Yeah, and imagine, like, Chad Hoover said, when you tip, you could even hook yourself in those circumstances. So who's to say what kind of dexterity you'll have, what kind of movement you'll be able to do, depending on kind of pain you're in. And then as far as that ladder situation too, I don't know the particulars of it, but y'all probably be able to look that up as far as using a rope. I know that if you use a rope, you could tie loops within the rope, 2 or 3 along the rope. And that could act as a ladder, if you will. And you would just have to put it on the far side of your yak and use it.
And pull yourself over.
Yeah, you would use your feet in that aspect as a leverage point within the loops of the rope. And you would just pull yourself up that way.
Another big safety thing is don't go alone. I mean, I know everyone's got their secret honey hole that they don't want to share, but like, when it's cold and I want to fish, I don't fish alone. When we went out to Raystown, that water temp was cold. If we went in, we were gonna have issues. But don't go alone. Always have someone. Always let someone know where you're fishing.
Yeah, that's the
You know,
other
you
one.
always got to have that. But I usually am always fishing with someone, whether I'm on cold water or like a river, maybe a river that's deep and sketchy in certain areas. I saw Brian commented that he flipped on the Susquehanna. That river, you can catch a ledge and easily flip. Luckily, most of it's pretty shallow. That if you flip, you can pretty much stand back up, but you never know. You could flip, whack. It's shallow. There's plenty of rocks. You could whack yourself off a rock. Like you want to have people nearby. I mean, summertime, you go to a lake, there's people all around you, so you don't have to really worry about being alone. But especially in cold water and sketchy areas, don't go alone.
Well, check this out. So yesterday, when this happened to me on the water, sorry, I paused there because there was something else I wanted to say. I can't think of it right now. Well, yesterday when I was on the water and that happened to me and I had that hook in my hand, it was like really warm. It was really hot out. And I was starting to get slightly dehydrated and I could have had a little more to eat. And so I wasn't all the way there. And when this happened, it really threw me off. And for a moment there, I had to get my composure, and thankfully the folks that came to assist had Gatorade with them, like an ice cold Gatorade, and that kind of helped rebound me because for a second there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna pass out and faint on this kayak.
Yeah, you get that adrenaline pumping, and like that's when you realize, like, oh, maybe I wasn't hydrated. I like to freeze water bottles, like especially when it's gonna be a hot day. I freeze 2-3 water bottles so that way they stay cold throughout the day and just constantly stay hydrated. You don't realize something's wrong till, like you said, something goes wrong, and then you're like, oh, that was close.
Yeah, and it was just like kind of weird. So, yeah, you know, and another one, guys, is like, you know, if you do flip and you know you're in a circumstance where you're noticing you're wasting way too much energy trying to get back in that kayak, but you have your life jacket on and you're like 20 yards away from the edge or something. Just hold on to your yak, lay on your back, and just backpedal a little bit, and just keep your head above the water and just chill and just get to the shoreline. Don't try to do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Go to where it's shallow. You know, don't freak yourself out.
Staying calm in those situations is very key.
Oppose yourself. You know what I mean? I think that Jay made a really good point. I think that getting insurance is going to be a good thing. You know, get that insurance. Also insure yourself with the PFDs and these other little things. And then if it happens, you can say, all right, cool. I can stay calm. I can stay cool. I can stay collected. I can recoup. Let me go take care of myself. You know what I mean? I think that although all those things combined give you a better peace of mind. And like, you know, to both your guys' point, I've never fell. I've never been in that predicament. Jay, you know, I had crazy water legs on the canoe. I used to stand up on the canoe and ride that thing on like 3 miles an hour and just remember that, Alisa? Just so you know what I mean? But you know, it's scary. It's scary. Yo, I'll put it to y'all like this. I fell in the water from the shoreline. Never from a kayak, but from the shoreline. I'm in South Carolina. Jay, you know that? Remember that sewer that you can stand on? So my folks have a retention pond, and above, like sticking out of the retention pond, like maybe like 5 or 6 feet, and then like 3 or 4 feet below the edge of the it's like right in the middle of the hill. There's like a hill, and then sticking out of the hill there's this boom. So if the water rises enough, it'll all fall down there. It never gets that high. Anyway, so it's like a good casting point. Cast it off of there, catch a 5 was it a 4-pounder? Yeah, it was like a 4.5, 5-pound fish. Crazy PB at the time. And he was leveraging me so much, I forgot where I was at, and I just started walking him back. I walked him back, and I fell off this thing. I scraped up my leg. I fell in the water, and when I fell in the water, my butt fell on like a hard root or something like that. And I had a crazy black and blue. So not even from rocks, you know, from jagged branches. and who knows if those branches have any hooks on them. And again, like Jake said, you could fall, you could bump your head on a rock or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Ray made a good point to keep a first aid kit. So you can make one, you can keep one, but that helps with that stuff. If you want to go over the top a little bit and add a tourniquet and things like that, I mean, they're really not that expensive. You get a good tourniquet for like $30.
I'm sure Amazon has a good deal.
Ray wants to give you mouth to beard too, Jay. He's there to save your life. I didn't
put the comment up, but
did he say that?
Save your life, my guy.
He said, I'm certified first responder, so I give Jay mouth to mouth. Thanks, Ray.
And then Cotton Candy said, wouldn't that be mouth to beard? Which is
it would be.
No, it's funny because we know Ray personally, and it's funny to think of that visual. Actually,
that's funny.
That was funny.
I feel like we need to apologize because we said older people. First of all,
I said that. I'll take that.
You said people. You said, no, I don't like people. I want folks. So Travis, he said, what are you saying? If we're old, we're not people? So
I don't want no drama. I don't want no smoke.
Especially
from the old folk. No.
And then Steve says, I'm one of those older guys, 61 and 280 pounds. He has an Old Town PDL 106, and he's super comfortable in it. I agree. Old Town makes some stable kayaks.
No, they do.
You need to come out with some stickers. You need to come out with stickers. Older kayak fishing dads.
Kayak fishing grandpas. No, I'm kidding. Let me stop, bro.
Yes, there you go.
The black and white.
You got to get one for the kayak fishing non-dads. I'm in the group and I'm not even a dad yet.
Future dads.
I wonder if the older guys put like radios on their kayaks and listen to the sports games and stuff. And we have our third base. All right, now
they're gonna ban you off the show, bro.
No, I'm just playing.
And Michael said, "How old is the older people?"
I guess if you qualify,
don't even say a number. Don't even say a number.
No, stop. So, just for reference, Jake is the baby of the group. Jake's 27.
27. I am a young lad.
Yeah.
That's why I fish so much. I don't have a family yet, so I have the opportunity. I have an amazing fiance that lets me go fishing like every single weekend. So I am literally enjoying it while I have the time.
Shout out to the awesome fiance.
Yeah.
Cotton Candy Kayak called me out. He said, Jay said old people, people over 50. My bad, bro. I did say that, and I take it back.
Say the number.
Look at
I said I think I did. So I apologize, bro. You're not old. I promise. We'll say anyone over 85 is old.
Look what Ron said.
Before that, we're all the same. Oh yeah.
He tried. To be
almost.
Almost. Better luck next time.
Oh man.
I would never live to down.
This episode was not supposed to
be about
like
age.
this.
It's supposed to be about weight, guys. Wait.
Yeah.
Michael did say though, just to answer your
old guys, just fat guys and tall guys.
Michael answered Juan's question. He said, I have waterproof DeWalt headset for the music.
Word.
Hey, there you go.
You remember those old headsets they used to put on? They had the knob with the FM AM radio.
Yeah, I remember.
You couldn't tell me nothing when I had those on.
Yeah.
Some B104. What? Crazy.
Yeah. Anyways. So I want to let's get back on track.
Yes,
Michael
sorry.
Said, I'm sucking up to them. I'll stop. I love y'all. All right. So one thing about Jake mentioned comfort with the seat cushions, the kayak cushions. That's important. But another thing too, when we're big, it's really hard for us to turn around. So if you're in your kayak and you constantly have to turn around to grab your whatever lures or baits or rods you keep behind you, there's ways that you can set it up so you can keep your tackle in front of you or to the sides of you, and that's going to make your life a lot easier too. Because I mean, turning around in a kayak, not only do you need to be like have that dexterity, but you also have to keep that center of gravity right there. Because the second you go like this and you turn your head over, you can go plop in the water.
Yeah.
I get cramps too. Like, I'm not ashamed. I don't hit the gym. The only gym I do is go out to the kitchen and get food. So when you turn around, you get that cramp in your side. Like, you got the track packs. I know, Jay, you got some of that. What I do every time before I launch is, like, I'll grab the soft plastics I think I'm going to use, and I'll put them up front. Like, a lot of times I'll keep one rod laying up front and then have one in my hands. And that way you're not, like, constantly reaching back. I know, like, the Native Titan X, you got the swivel seat. A lot of these kayaks are coming out with the swivel seat, the new Canoe Unlimited. So you can literally just swivel right around, not have to worry about that. Now you got to watch as as you're leaning, you don't want to get both shoulders off one side because that's when you're going to want to start to tip. So don't, make sure you swivel in shallow water and get used to how you need to do that. But the swivel seats, I think they're going to be pretty much standard in all kayaks in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. And Top Shelf Fishing says track packs are clutch. I agree, 100%. And they got the little dividers in there, so you can make a track pack whatever you want. You can add 4 or 5 to your rails, and it doesn't take up that much time.
Yeah.
Waguni, he asked, "Have you ever stood up to pee off your kayak?" My answer to that is every time.
Yeah, I have.
Except in the wind. Except if it's like sporty and I'm like out in mid lake. I've done the bottle, or you open the pedal drive, like on the Old Town, and you just shoot it right through there. But like, there's sometimes where I'm like, I ain't standing up in this stuff. Like, because when you're like focusing, then you lose your balance. It's like when you look up in the sky when you're standing or whatever. You know how you can like lose your balance. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like midstream, and then I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
losing focus.
I'm going to ask everybody watching again, let us know, how do you take care of business when you have to pee and you're on the kayak?
Well,
because you could stand up and pee. Some guys just go to the bank to take a pee.
That's me every time. I'm too lazy. I'm not.
Pop the pedal drive and pee, which I've done that too.
You know what I'm saying?
Let us know what you guys do, bro.
When you're large and in charge, no, I'm joking. When I whip that thing out, I lose all the balance. No, I'm joking. So I go to the bank.
In the wind, Cotton Candy Kayak says in the wind I pee out of the pedal drive. Yeah, I've done the pedal drive.
Yeah, if it's like cold water or something, like I go shallow. Like I try to stay shallow unless like I'm like mid lake and there's no one around. Like Mac Toon commented, a family came around the corner while he was mid doing his business, and all I could do was wave.
I mean, I went to the Susky for the first time when I did the native sleigh last year, right? And I was like, I had to use the bathroom, but I had to do number 2, right? So I looked for a downed tree stump, like that was laying, and I had to look for one that was behind some, But the problem was it was still cold, so there was no foliage. All the trees were barren, so I was just like trying to hide within the sticks. All right, so I used I found the edge of the tree stump there, and I just and I was in the air, you know what I mean? I kind of just in the air.
I love these visuals.
And boom, man, and I made it happen. But I was so frustrated because there was like for 100 yards, there was like these 3 middle-aged men fishing, and they're just watching me as they're coming down the bank. And they could just see half of me as I'm like peering behind the tree, bent over, and they're looking at me, and I'm just sitting there clutching the toilet paper, and I'm just like, "What do y'all do?" I'm staring at them; they're staring at me. They can't see my eyeballs though because I had the sunglasses on. But I'm like, "What is going on? This is crazy."
Hey, duty calls. I have no shame. Like, there's
you gotta go.
I've been on.
You gotta go.
The best is you find a stump with a hole in it, and then it's like a toilet seat.
Yeah, that's true. And then a spider.
Make sure that thing's empty. Yeah, make sure that thing's empty.
And a spider tickles you.
Yo. So Michael said disposable urine bags. They have those on Amazon. So if you guys don't want to do the pee bottle trick, you don't want to stand up on your kayak or pee or whatever, those urine bags is like peeing into a diaper essentially because it soaks it all up and it's not all like liquidy.
I would do a funnel and a tube down the scupper. I just thought
you could do that. I feel like that's a lot to bring, but that is, a funnel and a tube.
Sure. Think about it. If it's just a short tube, you could just attach it right to the side of your seat. Just pull it up. Sure. Put it back to the side.
So my big thing is I will always stand up to pee if I
Okay.
can help it. The only time I'll sit down to pee is if I'm like too close to shore or there's a lot of boaters around or something. Then I'll sit down and like slump into my seat real incognito and then try to like pee into the pedal drive or whatever.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm standing up. I'm just whipping.
Yes. Only after you're done using the funnel for peeing can you use it for brews.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Anthony.
Mac June came up late, but man, he's coming in with some hot. He's coming in hot with some jokes.
Dude, the scupper hole, bro. What do you do when you're at the end of the stream and you got to get those last 2 shots out? You get those 2 shots through the scupper hole too, bro's nice with it.
Yo,
I
that's
gotta
a good
see
question,
that.
though. No,
I
that's
gotta
a
see
good
that.
question. Let's see. We're okay on time. I mean, we got like another 5 minutes.
For what?
Let's see.
Already?
Yeah, bro. We've already been live for an hour and 20 minutes.
Started this.
I know it's been good. Yo, what questions do you guys have before we wrap it up? What questions do you guys have about big boy kayaks,
I'm frustrated.
kayaking as a big boy, kayak recommendations? So one thing I wanted to say was a lot of these bigger kayaks can get real pricey. That's one thing that we're seeing. In addition to obviously these kayaks coming out heavier, bigger weight capacity, they get really, really expensive now. So what suggestions do you have any, Jake, that are a little bit more affordable on the budget friendly side, maybe?
I mean, honestly, if you can get a good paddle kayak like the New Canoe Unlimited, the Old Town 120 paddle, like paddling might not be great, but all these kayaks have the mods to add motors in the long run that you literally can get a paddle kayak for like $1,600, which might sound expensive, but compared to the pedal drive models that are almost $3,000 starting up to like $6,000 for the Hobies, a paddle kayak's a great way to just get out there, get comfortable with it, and then you can slap a motor on the front or the back, and you're literally off, and literally for almost the same price as a pedal kayak, because you can get a paddle kayak for, like I said, $1,700. You add a motor guide or a Newport on the back, you're looking at $1,000 plus a battery. Lie time, hook yourself up with Jay's code, save a couple bucks. You're looking at another like couple $100. So you're literally getting a paddle kayak with a motor on it for the price of a pedal drive kayak.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's one thing is you can motorize a kayak for cheaper than you can get the pedal drive alternative of it. I've heard a lot of that lately just because of the video I recently dropped about it. But I would say even if you want to go cheaper than $1,600, because if you were to get the sport, just the Old Town Sportsman paddle, the 120, I think they're like $1,200. So something like that. As long as you have a comfortable base of a kayak, like you said, Jake, you can add on to it. You could motorize it later. Also look for used kayaks because there's a lot of used kayaks on the market.
Yes,
like,
the market's saturated.
Can't get rid of them
right
fast
now.
enough. Yeah, there's a ton.
And I also think
Cotton Candy says Zulu, the Zulu Kaku kayaks. There is $2,150, so it's a little bit more on the expensive side. Well, as far as like, it's not budget friendly, but it's not necessarily like over the top either.
I think that with that auto boat as well, I think that for guys looking to break in and want to have a little more like control, you don't want to shell out all that money for a motor guide. XI3, and they're not even going to be making those anymore. So you want to have a trolling motor, and you want to feel like you have control over it. You want to feel like you have spot lock, all that different kind of stuff. The auto boat is perfect. I think it comes in like right around like $500 or $600, right around there.
Yeah.
So I think that coupled with, and I think like an Endura C2, like 55 pound thrust, I think that's sitting at like maybe 250 or something, 300. I don't know. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's considerable. If you could find a good kayak for like around $1,500-$1,800, and you only spend about another $1,000 throwing a little kind of like combination of a motor setup, between the battery, the auto boat, and your little motor.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be really set up, and then that could translate to other positions. I mean, you could use that any other time. If the trolling motor comes off your kayak, you can put it on the John boat. Now you have it on your John boat. When you upgrade your kayak, you just need to put a mount on your kayak for this same setup, and now you're more versatile. It's not stuck anywhere. So that's something else to consider too.
And bringing it back full circle, talking about big men getting in kayak, being comfortable, being stable. If you need to, wait and save more money, because you don't want to end up buying a kayak that you're not comfortable in or stable in. That's a huge thing. That's all we're talking about, is literally how to be comfortable, safe, stable. And if you end up buying an $800 paddle kayak and it's not one of the, great name brands, like, you could end up, then you're trying to sell it to get another one, or you get it and you hate it and then you don't want to kayak fish. Yeah. So definitely.
Or you buy it and you see it sucks and you're like, man, now I can't even recoup enough money for it. I just got to kind of get rid of it, and I've lost out now. Yeah, he's right. Save up.
Yeah, save a couple bucks.
I mean, our buddy Ray, I don't know what kayak he had, that green one, which he paddled around, was fine, but then he recently upgraded the Titan X, and I think Ray learned what happens when you upgrade to that next level. It's just crazy how much they improve when you jump that, that next price range.
Your confidence level improves, the way you move on the water. All of that changes when you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Good on there.
Yeah, you do. Because when I came from, I felt really good. I had a really cool setup with my canoe. I was super stable. I was super lazy, out the way.
Yo, Mac Toon, he says, how's Juan talking about kayaks for us fat people? Man, over there looking like a Greek god.
Yo, you gotta see me after I eat. My bloatation station looks crazy, bro. I be looking like 6-7 months crazy. It's embarrassing.
Bro, you gotta do a tall podcast. If you're talking about tall kayak guys, you have Juan on. Big boys are.
Juan's big this way.
He's
big this way.
I'm height challenged.
High challenge.
Bro, you got a 6-pack and I got a keg. Like, we're two different people, my guy.
Yo, Sarge asked a question about thoughts on Johnny Boat. I'll speak on that because I had it and I sold it. So it's not, the Johnny Boat it's a good kayak for the price. It has an audience, absolutely, because you can get the motorized version of the Johnny Boat for, I think, like $1,400. And if you want the steerable, the one with the steerable motor, it's maybe $1,500. And it is super stable. I took it out. Actually, Sarge, if you go on my channel, I have a couple videos on the Johnny Boat. It's comfortable. It has plenty of storage for being a 10-foot boat, but I don't know how much support they have into the Johnny Boats, because that's the only kayak in their lineup is the Bass 100. They were going to release a 120, a 12-foot version. They never did. It's owned by Feel Free, and they're not going anywhere, but I don't think they're doing anything with the Johnny Boat brand. So if you get one on a deal, I would just rock with it. I mean, even if you buy a new one, it's not a bad deal for that price. I got rid of it because it doesn't fit. Don't compare it to an autopilot is what I'm saying. Autopilot, you're going to spend $3,000 more, but it's for a good reason. I had the autopilot already, so there's no reason for me to really keep it, but it's not a bad kayak. And for the price, I would definitely recommend it.
And you got to compare the kayak you're looking into is what are you planning to use for it? Do you want to get in the tournaments? Do you fish big bodies? Do you fish small bodies? If you fish small local lakes that don't get big and wide and can get crazy with wind, maybe you don't need a crazy high-end kayak. If you're just fun fishing, maybe you get that one. You can stay on that lower end, but if you're wanting to go out on Champlain, which I've been out there like a half mile out on the lake, I don't want to be in anything less than one of the top kayak brands, because you can get 4-footers and it ain't fun. You want to make sure that you feel comfortable enough to get back to the launch. So just take that into consideration. What are your needs? What do you want to use it for? If you want to dabble in the tournament fishing, then I suggest saving up a little more. Like I said, better off waiting in the long run than buying one, then regretting it, then trying to sell it to then get another one. I mean, we all start somewhere. We always usually start in a cheaper kayak, which is good, but it's tough because you want to kayak, you want to get fishing, you want to go, you don't want to wait another year, 6 months, whatever. So I totally understand. I'm not a person to wait. I want to fish, whatever I do. Like, I'm usually the one that buys first and then realizes I made a mistake later. But if you want to get, like I said, if you're fishing big bodies of water, you want to dabble in tournament fishing, definitely take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
I would
But
also go ahead.
No, I wanted to answer a question real quick. It's a little bit off topic,
Well, then real quick, since you got
Yeah.
the question there, also consider that I forgot what I was gonna say.
damn, my bad, bro.
No,
That's my fault.
no, it's okay.
It'll come to you later.
Yeah, if it comes up, I'll say it. No,
All right. No, Waguni, thanks for the super chat. Put in a super chat for $4.99. So just so y'all know, I've never said this, but if you guys ask a question that's off topic, I generally will not address it on the show because we're staying on topic. But if you do it through a super chat, I'll answer it. I don't care what it is, bro. You can ask me what my favorite Pop-Tart is. And if you super chat it,
Ray's sending it right now. He loves his Pop-Tarts.
Waguni wants to know recommendation on a fish finder. He has an Old Town 106 PDL. Looking at the Garmin Striker 4 Vivid or the Garmin Vivid 7 SV.
Do the Garmin Vivid 7 SV. What is the price on the Garmin? Can you pull that?
I think they're in the 350 range. If I'm not
pull it up.
If I'm not mistaken.
While you're pulling it up, I'll give my input. I had an old Striker 4 for like ice fishing and stuff, and then I ended up eventually getting the 93 SV. Every spring, Bass Pro had it on sale for like a couple $100 off. You save up your gift cards that you get from Christmas, birthdays. Always, depending on what you're doing, like here in PA, these boys know a lot of our lakes are shallow, grassy. Are you offshore fishing most of the time? No, you mainly need a fish finder for water temperature and depth. Yeah. And that's going to get you most of the stuff you need. Now, if you're going on big lakes, stuff like that, a graph with side imaging, down scan, clear view, live scope capable, if you ever want to make that upgrade, then you're looking at, a 73 SV, the Garmin UHD. 73 SV is a great one.
That's the one I was going to suggest, the 73.
No, I have two 93 SVs. Do you think 9 inches is too much on a kayak? You might think at first, but honestly, it's not really. That's what we all run. We all have the 93 SV, I believe.
Yeah, so and I was going to say that 93 is definitely where it's at.
Yeah,
like the kayak thing, you're saving up, but in the long run, it depends. Like I said, if you're only using it for water temperature and depth, you really could go on the lower end.
I'll tell you what, we had. Did you buy the 93 SV right off the bat, Jay?
Yeah, that's the first one I got.
All right, yo. So I know that sounded like I said Jake there. My bad, Jake.
Yeah, no, you're good.
No, yeah, I'm not. No, I don't want to talk to you. No, no. Yeah. So we it was so ironic because we get to South Carolina. And it's Jay's first real time using this Garmin unit, the 93 SV. And it was when the time they put it on. Well, how much did you get yours for?
It was $700.
Okay, so you got this. It was
for that Black Friday sale.
It was the first time they threw it.
First time they dropped it, yeah.
The first time they dropped it at that price, he grabbed it up. So he had it, and we get out there, and we're trying to figure out where to find these fish because originally we had thought that. Okay, we want to be in around 6 to 7 feet because we were thinking that it's the beginning of spring. They're going to be spawned up. Well, there was a cold front, and hold on, give me 1 second.
Hey, why you got fireworks? You got fireworks going on. So I'll finish it. There was a cold front that came through, so they went a little bit deeper, but we were able to find them because of the fish finder.
Yeah, and it was crazy because we didn't anticipate using the fishing chart, like the map, or anything at all, or the contours or anything like that. So we were like sitting after we scoured this whole area, and it was crazy because it was like over 1.5 miles of flats. So we were like, yo, and the water was crystal clear, and we couldn't find a single fish. And we were like, what the heck?
The UHD 73 SV and 93 SV, they come with Navionics. Yeah, so you can have the app on your phone. I suggest that. If you don't want to buy the graph that comes with the mapping, get Navionics app on your phone, and you can literally have a subscription and then use it on your phone. I've literally had guys do that. So then you can see where you're at. A lot of the lakes, especially the bigger lakes around you, will have all the charting. It's not always 100%, but it'll help you if, you know, it's springtime or summer, you think they're offshore, blah, blah, blah. It can help you zone in on it. But if you can save up and get the UHD 73 SV, you know, because that one is $499, an extra $200-300, you can get that 73 SV. I would suggest that.
Yeah, because the side view is going to show you, it's going to give you a better idea of what those grass lines look like around you, as well as that down view image. And you'll be able to split up screens, and you'll have up to you'll be able to customize your screens as well. And so it'll just give you a lot of more information, so you can be a little more calculated on the water. It's not like it's not going to show you where the fish are exactly and tell you what to put in there, you know. It's just,
it'll help you break down the lake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I hope we answered your question, Waguni. Again, thanks for the super chat, bro. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I'm not gonna add to it because we said that was good information. Thank you guys. So if we don't got nothing else, what else you want to add, Jake? Are you done? Nothing else for big guys? Did we exhaust all the big guy stuff?
I feel like we did. We hit safety. We hit being comfortable. Price points. I mean, if you guys have any other questions, always feel free to hit up Jay or myself. We're always happy to help the fellow big guys out. So, you know, I think we hit all the points, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Juan, anything you want to add?
No, man.
The Greek god.
Yeah, right. I wish.
You got Poppy Juice and Greek god.
Tell my wife that. No, I'm
Yo,
remind her
for that. Yo, if you guys have any dad jokes, you got 2 seconds to drop them before we get into the funny or crummy segment. Before we do that, though, I'm gonna shout out Lead Time one more time, our premier sponsor. I appreciate you guys. If you're in the market to upgrade your battery, we talked a lot about batteries during this episode. We talked about powering your setup. You're looking to get into lithium for your trolling motor or your electronics, take a look at Lead Time. They also have now, I talk a lot about their 100 amp hour smart battery with Bluetooth. Well, they just dropped a 50 amp hour with Bluetooth. So if you want something a little bit smaller for maybe a smaller motor or to power up all your electronics, your fish finder, your lights, everything else, check out their 50 amp hour Bluetooth battery. It's same situation where you can check it out on your phone. So it's really cool. Make sure you guys check them out and use discount code BDF6 for 6% off your entire order. And I want to add one thing. If you guys go over to Lead Time on Instagram, it's just at Lead Time. Go tell them thank you for supporting this podcast and for supporting the sport, because they're actually going really ham on the fishing industry right now. They were the premier diamond or whatever sponsor for ICAST 2024. So they had a huge booth over there. So they're really jumping into the fishing industry, which is really cool.
And I ain't gonna lie, they make the smallest 100 amp hour 12 volt battery in the industry right now. And I believe
yeah.
Did you just say that?
Yeah. I said that the 50 amp hour Bluetooth. Is their new one that they dropped, but they do have a 100 amp hour mini as well. That's pretty popular if you want a smaller one. So, all right. So, funny or crummy? First one, we got first dad joke by Ray Johnson. Where do pirates buy hooks? The secondhand store. If that doesn't make you laugh, it's because you're on the pirates.
Made me laugh. Hold on, real quick. You know what the pirate said that had the steering wheel in his pants?
No.
He said, "Ah, it's driving me nuts."
Oh my god!
All right.
You practiced. You had that one locked and loaded.
No, I mean, come on, that was a rebound.
Yeah. All right. Cotton Candy Kayak. He said, "Why are fishing dads the best? Because they're so sophisticated."
You did. Hey. That sounds like a Grinch joke.
He also said, "What do you get if you cross fishing tackle with an old smelly sock, hook, line, and stinker?"
Oh, I read that
I like
smelly
that.
sock a little too fast.
Oh my gosh! All right, next one from Cotton Candy Kayaks. What did the magician say to his friend while fishing? Pick a cod, any cod.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
That took a second. Oh, man.
That's a good one. All right, and last one here from Top Shelf Fishing. Why do ducks wear pants? To cover their butt quacks.
Oh,
like
my
that.
God.
I'm gonna save. I think my kids would like that one. I'm saving that one.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yo, thank you guys for the dad jokes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jake, for coming on again. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
If you guys want Jake to come on more, let us know in the comments.
You'll be like, no.
Poppy juice,
Never
you got
again.
that juice, man.
Never again.
Yeah, no,
I'm
thank
always
you.
down to
Thank
talk
you guys.
fishing. I enjoy it.
Absolutely, for sure. And make sure you guys put it on your calendar. The next show is going to be August 18th, and we're talking to Ray Heredia, the president of the Puerto Rican Sport Fishing Federation, and Chris Blanco from Urban Fishing TV, which we had here last week. We're talking about the Pan American Kayak Fishing Championship that I am honored to fish in next month. What's the importance of it to the growth of the sport of kayak fishing? So we'll be talking about that in 2 weeks, August 18th. And make sure to you guys follow Jake on Instagram and Facebook. I have his links below. Follow Juan as well, Captain Hooks, and myself, Bearded Dad Fishing. So until next time, guys, appreciate y'all. Peace and God bless.
See ya.